Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're talking about extraction and ejection problems with your Polymer 80. Okay, and what we're talking about is your Polymer 80's ability to extract the empty case from the chamber and eject it. And one of the common problems that I have seen with people shooting pistols for as long as I've been an instructor, which is about 12 years, is what they call erratic ejection patterns, where these cases are flying all over the place, hitting people in the face. And that's going to happen with all pistols, okay? And usually that's a problem with the grip, okay? Basically, in order for this gun to work, okay, and to work in general, you have to hold it firmly so that as you're holding the gun, only the slide moves. The bottom part of the gun has to stay steady while the slide is running back and forth. Your reticle or your front sight should stay on target. Okay? So if, let's say, this here is your bullseye, this is your front sight or your reticle, right? As you're shooting it, it should look like this: boom, 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 boom. It should not look like boom, 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 all over the place. Especially if it's looking like this: boom, boom. If you're seeing your front sight lift up, it probably means that you're letting the gun lift up like that, in which case the gun is going to open up and the ejection port is going to be pointed right in your face, and that's why you get hit with the cases in your face. Okay, that is usually the problem with with extraction problems. Okay, now I suppose it's possible that there might be a problem with the ejector, right? The ejector's this little pointy part here that's slightly curved, okay? Because the job of that is basically to, as the empty case gets pulled back, to hit this and get flung out. I guess it is possible for that to be defective. As long as I've been building Polymer 80s, I've seen I've seen lots of problems. I probably haven't seen every single possible problem, but I've seen lots of problems in all the different builds. Every build that I do usually has a different problem, and that's why I'm able to learn and pass this information along to you guys. The problem I have not seen is a faulty ejector. Okay, I have not seen that. I'm not saying it's impossible, but I have not seen that problem. So if you're getting an erratic ejection pattern where the cases are flying all over the place, it's probably because you're not holding the gun firm enough. You have to, basically, your left hand is your controlling hand. This, I mean, if you're right-handed, your left hand should be doing about 70% of your squeezing. Your right hand should be firm, but not so tight that you're shaking, because if you squeeze the gun too tight with your right hand, it's going to start to shake. Okay, so that's why your left hand is the one that does 70% of your squeezing. Okay, and you want to focus on your reticle or your front sight, and when you're shooting, it should not come off your bullseye. It should go boom, boof, boof. It should just move a little bit. It should not be flying up in the air. Okay, that's how you're able to basically shoot really fast and stay on target. You should go boom, 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 boom. That's all about keeping that front sight on target. Okay, so next problem that I have, this one I've actually seen, where your extractor is just not working. Okay, it's not grabbing the case and pulling it out. And I've got the extractor here. Okay, so yeah, extractor case. So actually, let me get the gold one. It's a little bit easier for you. So this is a case here. So basically, this needs to grab that right there and pull this out. And it's just not doing it. It's not pulling it out. Possible reasons: it's stuck in the chamber. You may, I mean, I have seen it where I've had chambers that were just out of spec. I've had to take a Dremel, go in there, polish it out, so that it, so that the case would not get stuck in there. I think I've had at least two barrels that had chambers that were slightly out of spec that I had to really go in there, polish them out. So that can happen. The other reason is, of course, that your extractor is just broken, right? The claw, this little part here that grabs, is just broken. Okay, but the main reason why you're likely to have where your extractor is not working at all is because you have an optic on your pistol, and there's two screws in here, right? One on on the left side, one on the right side. Well, when you buy a Holosun, they give you 2 sets of screws, a long screw and a short screw. The short screw goes on the extractor side. If you use the long screw on the extractor side, what's going to happen is the screw is going to go down. It's going to, if you tighten it all the way down, it's going to pinch the extractor rod. And if you pinch the extractor rod, it's not going to, the extractor is not going to work, okay? I made this mistake. I made that mistake on my very first build, okay? Where I used the long screws on both sides, left side and right side, because I thought that, hey, that was going to, keep this optic in place. And what happened is I made the, I put the long screw on the extractor side. It pinched down my extractor, and my extractor wouldn't work. I was basically fussing with this for about 2 days, maybe 3 days before I managed to get it out. Okay, before I figured out what the problem was, and I actually damaged the extractor rod in the process. Okay, so that's the other reason why that's the reason why your extractor is not working. Now, the other problem that you might be having, and I have experienced this problem, is a feeding problem. Okay, so as you're trying to feed, okay, so here's the thing: the way this extractor works, when a bullet is fed, extractors here. Actually, it's on the, we do it on this side. It's normally on this side. As it comes up, it basically goes up. Let me get behind the camera. So let me see if I can get in a position that you guys can see. Okay, so there's the claw. So when it feeds, this thing comes from the bottom up. Okay, bottom up. And sometimes you're going to have a feeding problem where as it comes up, it just gets caught right there. It does not, because basically on the way in, it comes up, and then after it's fired, the case pulls this back, okay? So the problem there is that the extractor is just slightly out of, the extractor claw, right, the part that grabs, is slightly out of spec. At one point in early 2021, I mean, I guess there had been a whole batch of these extractors that was made, and they ended up in the slide parts kit from a lot of different sellers. So I was getting, in early 2021, I was finding these bad extractors in lots of different kits, right? And what I was doing is I was ordering shadow extractors, and they were working. I have not seen that problem in late 2021, so I think that problem got worked out. But that's a problem with your extractor. I mean, I suppose if you sit there with a Dremel and you polish it out, eventually you might get it right. I just keep extra extractors. I have extractors that I know work, so I can basically test it out and make sure it's working. So that's an extractor problem. If this thing is not feeding properly, right, because the case is just not coming up, it's getting stuck on the way in, you gotta just change out your extractor. Okay, so that's a problem that I have seen. Okay, so those are your 3 type of extractor and ejection problems. First one, you're just not gripping the gun tight enough, leaning into it, right? The way you're gonna know for that for sure is when you're shooting, pick a small target, small bullseye. Your front sight or your reticle should not be lifting off the target while you're shooting. So you can be boom, 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 boom. It shouldn't be moving off the target. It should stay on target. So that's the first problem. Second problem, no extraction because your optic screws are pinching down on your extractor rod. Right, that's the second problem. And the third problem, it's not feeding, right? Or rather, the barrel is not coming up. So you're going to see this as the barrel not coming up, not lifting up to put the case into, put the cartridge into position, and that's just a faulty extractor. That's just a bad extractor. You just got to change that out, or spend a lot of time, polishing it to get it to fit. So those are the problems that I have encountered. There might be others out there. If you guys have encountered any other extractor and ejection problems, put it in the comments section. I always tell people, if you're building, like never buy just one parts kit. Get at least 2, preferably from different sources, so that if you're having a problem with the gun, you can throw it. You can swap in parts from a different manufacturer and do kind of like a process of elimination. Okay, especially like right now, early 2022. I mean, you can get these parts kits for like $40. Okay, so right now prices have gone down a little bit. now is the time to like really stock up on extra parts, extra barrels, extra frames. From what I hear, the ATF is, there's some forward movement on their proposed rule change for frames and receivers. That information came out yesterday. I mentioned it in another video that I did. So I'm guessing we probably have maybe 3 months before they come out with something. In which case, that's going to jack prices. As soon as they come out and say something, make any say anything other than they're giving up, it's going to push prices up. Okay, and there's going to be scarcity problems. You're not going to be able to find stuff. So right now, prices are probably as low as I've ever seen them for parts. So buy, build. Okay, so thanks for watching. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe, hit the bell button so you get notification. I'll talk to you guys soon.